In today's episode of Holistic Health, Frequently Asked Question, we'll be going over the most powerful tool to maintain a positive state of mental health. Before we get into this video, like, share, and subscribe, and also be sure to comment below with some of the questions that are related to this video topic. So, what's very interesting about life is that we're always going to have a different state of mind, right? So there's times we're going to be in a negative state of mind. There's times we're going to be in a positive state of mind, and it's always going to fluctuate, right? It's always going to fluctuate between our thoughts and our feelings, just going back and forth, yin yang, up and down, left and right. However, when it comes to mental health, the goal is to generally have a positive state of mind as much as possible. And the goal is also to overcome the negative states of mind using different methods, right? So there's people who talk about getting therapy. People, like myself, who is a Christian, to pray, maybe fast. There's other subtopics into even what affects us in terms of our mental health. Like, for example, the foods that we eat, which would be a whole other topic to discuss. However, what I found over the years of studying self-development, personal development, mind, body, and spirit development, and most importantly, mental development, is that in order to overcome depression and anxiety, which are a couple negative emotions, just the main two that we experience in life, there's means and methods that we can utilize consciously with our own free will to shift our state from depression, shift our state from anxiety into a healthier and positive mental state. One of those tools is the principle of autosuggestion. And the principle of autosuggestion, I first learned about the principle of autosuggestion in the book Think and Grow Rich. And simply, the terminology says it itself, autosuggestion. So throughout our daily lives, we're always getting suggestions through the five senses, right? So, what I see, what I hear, what I smell, what I taste, what I feel, right? These stimulants or stimulus of our five senses sends information to our brain, and that is a form of suggestion, determining, giving us thoughts, and then we act on those thoughts. When it comes to external, we have friends, family, social media, regular media, always throwing suggestions at us, right? Thoughts at us every single moment, just throwing thoughts at us, and it's up to us to start to dictate what thoughts we let into our subconscious mind and become a dominating thought. So the beauty of the mind is we have the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, and the conscious mind is a way to at least block out letting the suggestions that we get daily become a dominating thought in our mind. The subconscious mind is where we will let the dominating thoughts that we allow into our mind really simmer, and then we act on those thoughts, right? We act on those feelings that the thoughts might trigger. Vice versa, certain feelings may trigger certain thoughts, and we act on it. Autosuggestion comes in to play with mental health so powerfully, because that is saying I, with my free will dictate the thoughts that enter my mind. That means if I'm feeling depression, if I'm feeling anxiety, if I'm feeling anger, if I'm feeling jealousy, right, other negative emotions that can overwhelm us and affect our mental health, I can catch myself and say, wait a minute, I don't have to feel this way. I can say positive things to myself. And the primary tool through autosuggestion is gratitude. Verbally expressing gratitude daily. So we have autosuggestion, which we know is how we talk to ourselves, but primarily verbally expressing gratitude is what I've learned referring to the book, The Science of Getting Rich. That gratitude is the ultimate principle that shifts your mental state no matter what. You can be angry, jealous, feeling depressed, having anxiety. What are some negative, other negative emotions, right? And if you stop yourself, take a deep breath, slow down, and start to think about what you are grateful for in that moment and say those things to yourself. I am grateful for, I am grateful for, I am grateful for. Your whole state of being and state of mind shifts into the positive vibration, the positive frequency, into a positive mental state. And this is what I find when I see so many people go over, talk about mental health, and they talk about depression, they talk about anxiety, and they talk about having all these different negative emotions, that while yes, there's external methods that you can use to shift yourself out of that, while as I shared earlier, there's other sub niches on things that even cause us to get into that realm of a negative mental state of being, a lot of times it is not addressed that through the principle of autosuggestion, verbally expressing gratitude daily, you can shift your mental health drastically. Now, an example of utilizing autosuggestion with verbally expressing gratitude is to understand two laws, I think it's two, of the universe. And that is the law of vibration, and then the law of, three, the law of perpetual transmutation of energy, and then number three, the law of relativity. So as if you don't know about the universal laws, there's a whole bunch of different universal laws that govern our existence. However, the law of vibration or the law of energy basically says, nothing stays nothing stays the same. Everything is moving, constantly in a state of moving up and down, up and down, up and down. When you understand the law of perpetual transmutation of energy, you understand that you have the ability to dictate the state of energy that you are in with your own free will. So through expressing gratitude, you are now using your free will to shift the state of vibration or frequency or energy that you are in. So if you're in a negative state of mind, which would be a low vibration or a low frequency, you can use the law of perpetual transmutation of energy, which comes through the principle of autosuggestion and expressing gratitude with your mouth, and saying whatever you're grateful for starts to shift your state of being from the low vibration to a higher vibration, hence a positive state of mind. Now, the reason why the law of relativity is so important when it comes into this whole aspect of mental health is because it's a balancing factor. That's the best way I can explain it. So relative basically says the best way I learned or understood relative is that if you think something happening to you is bad, someone's going through something worse. right? If you think what's happening to you is great, someone could be going through something better. But I like to focus on the aspect of the negative side. Like, if I think I'm having a bad day, trust and believe there's somebody who's having an even badder day. And that person who's having an even badder day, there's somebody who's having an even badder day, right? So you understand relativity just cancels everything out, and like no one situation is more worse than the other. And I want to backtrack. While yes, some people's situation is a lot more worse than others, when you understand there's always going to be, if we do comparison, someone's always going through something. The purpose of understanding the law of relativity is just stay neutral. So don't get so obsessed with thinking your situation is the worst. So when it comes to depression, when it comes to anxiety, a lot of times people linger on depression, like maybe the past, and thinking like, oh, this happened, that happened, this and the third happened, right? It's just like other people's going through stuff too. Not to dismiss your emotions, other people's going through stuff too. So let me come back to myself and say, you know what? Instead of focusing on all the things that are going wrong in the past, let me focus on the things that are going great. Hence, verbally express what you're currently grateful for. Then, if you have anxiety and you think about all the things that could go wrong in the future, that's a whole other topic. I tell people, like, even myself, I've learned, try not to obsess with the future, because there's only so much you only can control the present. Hence, why the principle of gratitude actually also keeps you in a present state of being, because in order to express what you're grateful for, you have to look at what you currently have and what's going great for you right now in the moment. So some examples of using auto-suggestion with the principle of gratitude can simply be, I am grateful that I'm alive. I'm grateful that I have eyes to see. I'm grateful that I have ears to hear. I'm grateful that I have a mouth to speak. It's very simple things like this that we often take for granted, but getting in the present moment and acknowledging these things really brings you and really make you realize, like, oh my gosh, like, life ain't as bad as it seems. And I tell a lot of people, even if you don't have certain things, like for example, let's say somebody's blind, so they can't say they're grateful, for having eyes to see, but they can say they're grateful that they have the ability to feel and touch. So when it comes to expressing what you're grateful for, it is all contextual to your personal life. But the main point is, everybody can find something that they're grateful for and express it. Hence why this is the most powerful tool to shift your mental state, because no matter where you are in your life, no matter what you're going through, no matter how old you are, no matter your situation, yes, some people have it way rougher than others. Some people are like, just going through horrible things. But even that person, in order to shift their mental state and their mental health, instead of lingering on the negatives that's going on around them, simply using auto-suggestion and verbally expressing gratitude to bring them back to the present, to bring yourself back to the present, will always, 100%, and there's science to this, but I might make another video or a little info video explaining the science. You will always be able to shift your mental health by focusing on what you're grateful for and what you currently have and what is going great for you. Even if on a larger scale it doesn't seem amazingly great, but it's still something. So an example would be this right here. The camera that I'm using right now, screws kind of got loose, so the back part of it with the flippy side is broken. I could have been like, oh my goodness, now I need a new camera, I don't feel like fixing this. I could be like, I'm not gonna make any videos because my camera's not in a perfect state. But no, because I'm even grateful for the fact that I still have a camera that's working to full capacity, other than, a little broken problem, I was able to look at the positive and say, you know what? I can still make this video at the end of the day. So this is how auto-suggestion with verbally expressing gratitude kicks in to a whole different variations of just helping you move forward in life and helping you overcome depression, anxiety, and negative emotions, ultimately putting you into a positive mental health state of being. Anyways, thank you for taking the time to watch this. Comment below if you're watching this video. Comment below some things that you're grateful for. I'll share, I'll just, share some examples. I'll share some examples in the video, but I'll share some other examples. Comment below the things you're grateful for. Share with somebody who who's going through, the toughness of life, and hopefully this video can help them to learn how to tap into a positive mental health or mental state of being through the principle of autosuggestion, along with verbally expressing gratitude daily. And one last thing. From personal experience, just saying 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 things you're grateful for may not be enough to shift your state of being. So sometimes you have to go through a list of things. And that's what I've learned from experience. So there's times in the past I feel depressed and I'm like, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that. And I'm still feeling the depression, I'm still feeling anxiety, I'm still feeling negative emotions. And that's when I realized, whoa, I gotta go through maybe like 10, 20 things and say it loud and confidently. Find that energy and say, I am grateful for, and acknowledge it with all my heart and with all my mind in order to shift my state of being. This is how transition of energy works. You just can't throw an axe at a tree one time and cut it down. Sometimes you have to keep throwing the axe until you cut through the tree. Likewise, when it comes to shifting your mental health, you have to keep saying what you're grateful for, what you're grateful for, what you're grateful for, what you're grateful for, until your brain finally gets it and says, oh, we're back in a positive state of mind. Oh, okay, peace out.